We have to come to lovingly interrupt this cycle to set you free, and it has to happen at the root level. By all means, change things out there. By all means, do things from the outside in for your body, your health. Do things with your money and your relationships and your career, and change jobs and change location, all the things you want to do. But you have to know the stuff out there from an energetic perspective is like a bow tied on the outside of your life. And the real cause and the real power and the real lasting change comes when you get into alignment inside of you, where your mindset works for you, where your mindset is programmed to support the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions. You're listening to Practical Spirituality with B, the podcast with spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic. I'm Bernadette Logue. You can call me B, and I'm excited to share this episode with you. Welcome to the podcast today, where we're going to be talking about the keys to mind mastery, the most essential life skill that you can have, and actually a life skill that almost nobody learns growing up, and yet we're meant to figure out how to navigate life as an adult human being without an essential life skill. Why is it essential? Because your entire life is happening through the filter of your mind. Everything you create, everything you attract, everything you perceive, everything is happening for you as a human being through the filter of your mind. It doesn't matter whether it's something you can control, can't control, want, don't want. It doesn't matter whether it's your health, your money, your relationships, your goals, your outcomes, or a problem you want to fix. If you don't have mind mastery down and you don't have that life skill, and you're trying to navigate all of that through a funky mindset and you don't know what to do about it, it has a huge impact on your life. Now, we're having this conversation in this podcast episode today because I'm doing a lot of private coaching right now, and I also have a group coaching program, the Soul Odyssey Mentorship Program, Life Support and Community, but I do private coaching as well. Now, I've been doing both group programs and private coaching for over 12 years, and it does not matter what someone comes in for, mind mastery is always required. Doesn't matter whether someone's wanting to tap their intuition, create a greater spiritual connection, understand their soul purpose, activate their goals and dreams, fix a problem, resolve a health issue, fix a relationship situation, improve their communication, increase their performance in their career or business. It literally does not matter, because one thing stands true. Everyone is a human being, and everyone has a mind, and everyone has to navigate all of that stuff through their mind. And it either helps you or hinders you. It either harnesses your potential and unleashes it, or it harms you. And so isn't it wacky and a little frustrating that we don't get a user manual for it? No one teaches it to us growing up, even though if we have loving parents, they might do their best to shape our mindset in a great way for us. But the fundamentals of it are missing for most of it. And I witnessed a very young person recently at the effects of a mindset that has gone astray. And whether it's someone who's super young or someone who's 91, it does not matter. I will not get off my soapbox about this. You need to learn the keys to mind mastery. It is an essential life skill for you. It will set you free. It will improve your emotional experience of life, your relationships, your money, your health, your career, your business, your goals, your everything. So with that said, I'll sit down off my soapbox for a moment and welcome you here to this glorious day where I am currently visiting in my home country of New Zealand. So welcome. We're going to go into this. Now, I've been teaching mind mastery for a very long time, over a decade. But in late 2015, early 2016, I developed a 6-step mind mastery process called Master Your Mind. And I used to teach that as a program. I now teach it as the same program, but it's inside the Soul Odyssey Greater Program, Life Support and Community, which is a learning vault that takes you step by step through liberating yourself, right, into your most confident, soulful, magical self and the life that you really want. So I am going to actually in this podcast episode do my very best to condense for you the core of that so you can get a sense of what this is really about. If you want help, Soul Odyssey is going to open for the next public enrollment in the new year. So you can go to bernadettelogue.com/waitlist and join the waitlist for Soul Odyssey, and you'll be first to get notified when we open the doors, so you can jump in and you'll get access to all of the training and my coaching personalized to help you as you go through it. Or I do have a private coaching offer right now at the time of release of this video. I'm going to tell you about that at the end of this episode if you want to work privately with me one-on-one, and we can sort this out for you and I'll guide you through it. So we're going to set the scenes, right? The keys for mind mastery. The first thing to know is this: you are not your mind. You are a soul incarnate having a human experience. You are conscious awareness, meaning you have consciousness, and your consciousness is witnessing and watching life and yourself. You are not your mind, and we know this to be true because you can watch your mind and you can pay attention to what your mind is doing, and you can go, I don't like that thought. Why am I thinking that thought? And what's happening is you're observing it. So you can't be it if you can observe it, meaning you are the awareness, the consciousness that is able to observe your mind and choose what to do about what your mind is doing. Okay, so we say, I am a soul, spirit, essence, life force, or I am the consciousness, the awareness, and I have a mind, and I have a body, and I have feelings, and I have a life. But I am not my mind, I am not my feelings, I am not my body, I am not my life. I am the witness, the awareness that sees it. That's the first thing to understand, because you cannot create any power and leadership and direction and mind mastery if you are lost in the loop of it and you think you are it. Now, next thing to know about mind mastery is this. Your mind has multiple jobs, but there are two very important jobs that your mind has, okay? Your mind is not good, bad, right, wrong, naughty, whatever. It's just a tool, okay? And when we don't know how to use the tool will get accidentally in default shaped, and it will run to do two things in your life. And if we don't lead it in the way that we need to, it will do these two things of its own accord. Okay. Number one, its job is to keep you alive, to keep you safe. To do that, it is on alert and scanning for danger and risks. Anything that there is a perception or a belief is not good for you, and it will keep you away from that. Super handy, right? Yes, we want that. But the problem is, your mind has made up of a lot of stories and has picked up a lot of perceptions and absorbed a lot of fearful messaging that makes you afraid and think certain things are dangerous and risky that are not. And what it does is it locks you in a box and keeps you away from all the good things in life without you necessarily even realizing that's what's happening. This is what we call self-sabotage or self-protection. I get in my own way. I'm holding myself back. Why don't I just do what's good for me? The answer is your mind is doing what it thinks it's meant to be doing to keep you safe. The problem is it's misperceiving what is safe and what is unsafe, okay? The second thing your mind does, without you even trying to do it, is it is a meaning-making machine. It is constantly attempting to make sense of everything you're seeing, hearing, receiving, experiencing, and it is trying to understand you in relation to all of that to help you navigate, to help you be good and safe and effective and all of these good things. Now, as you can see, those two functions can really serve you very well, but unfortunately, if your mind misperceives what is safe or unsafe, danger and risk, or it makes up a limiting, negative, unhelpful story or belief set about anything, and that's not true, and then you have to live your life through that lens, then your life becomes skewed because your perception and your beliefs have been skewed, okay? So once we understand those two things about mind mastery, the next thing to understand is this. Your mind has been shaped, or what I call conditioned, since the day that you were born. This is very natural and healthy, and it's not a problem. It happens to everybody, so welcome to being human. When you pop into this world and your mind does that wonderful job of making sense of everything and making up your mind about things, it is shaped by the things that are going on around you. So you're a little person, right? From the moment you're born until they say around 7 years old, in terms of the doctors and the psychologists and the researchers, until about 7 years old, your mind is like a sponge and it just absorbs everything. And then your mind sets in your original conditioning and programming that then helps you move through life. Okay. Unfortunately, it often doesn't, as an adult, help you move through life at all. It actually ends up hindering you. So what are the things that are conditioning us? Well, our upbringing, all the people who raise us and all the things that are going on in our upbringing. And it doesn't matter whether you deem yourself to have had a good family, a difficult family, whether you believe your parents were good parents to you, or whether they were absent parents to you, or they were harmful parents to you. This is happening to everyone to some degree. Some of us are picking up some really good conditioning, and some of us are picking up really negative conditioning, and some combination or some place on that spectrum is happening for each of us. Then we go through, other than our upbringing, we go through education, informal and formal education. When we go through educational systems and institutions and we get pushed into that pathway, we are going every day to receive messaging after messaging after messaging after messaging, not just through the actual education that we get given that is formal or informal, but the interactions we have in our teachers and in the leaders and authority figures around us, and also in our peer group around us. So we've got upbringing and education. Then we have our experiences, the things that happen to us, the things that we do. From the moment we're born all the way through our life, we are doing things, experiencing things, things are happening to us. And every single time those things happen, our mind has to process and understand, make sense of, and it will often make sense of those things through the beliefs it's already picked up, and then it will make new ones to help you understand what's going on, to help you remember, stay safe, and know how to be good, safe, and successful as you navigate through this world. And then we have, lastly, the things we are exposed to. Upbringing, education, experiences, and what we're exposed to. Those are the things that are happening around you, okay? That are not necessarily happening to you, but are happening to other people or between other people, and you're witnessing, observing, making sense of, hearing, seeing, thinking to yourself about, and your mind is trying to make sense of that as well. Then we pop out the other side of all of that, and we have walked a very unique journey, and our mind has now a paradigm of beliefs that are then driving the way that we see life, and that we filter, perceive, interpret, and make sense of it. Now, here is the interesting thing. Our life is driven by our perception of life. I'm going to explain an equation in a moment to help you see how this plays out. But your mindset, your paradigm of beliefs, what you believe to be true about yourself, life, and other people, is driving you. At a conscious level, you may know some of the things you believe, but at a deeper subconscious level, right? Our conscious is the tip of the iceberg, and below the water is this massive subconscious conditioning. That is what is predominantly driving our daily life, our energy, which is creating our life and attracting our life, our beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and our behaviors. That is what is driving it, this programming that we have inside. So here is how we function as a human being, so you can understand logically how are my beliefs then interacting with my life and creating these outcomes. So we have what we believe to be true, right? So think of that like coding in a computer. Well, what you're thinking about on a daily basis, your recurring thought patterns, and let's think about the limiting ones, because those are the ones that we have a problem with, right? The majority of those limiting negative thought patterns that are running and recurring and problematic, they are stemming from what you believe to be true about yourself, life, and other people. So I believe these things, and then I think thought patterns about these things. Because of what you're believing and you're thinking, that gives rise to a lot of your recurring feeling experiences. Not all your feelings, but a lot of the recurring feeling experiences that you struggle with are coming from and linked to and feeding off of your belief programming and your thought patterns. Now, when you have those beliefs and thoughts and all those feelings going on, guess what that does? it directly influences your choices, your behaviors, and your actions. Of course, I'm thinking a certain way, I'm feeling a certain way. It influences what I do or don't do, my action or my inaction. Now, because of the way you're believing, thinking, feeling, and acting, choosing, behaving, you get certain results in your life. You know that because if you do certain things, you get outcomes. If you don't do certain things, you don't get outcomes. Those results that you then generate are what? They become your life. The results in your relationships, the results in your health, the results in your business, the results in your money, the results in your friendships, the results in your business career, whatever it is, those results are, put them all together, that's what you call my life. So when you're like, I don't like what's going on in my life, yes, we have the outer and we can fiddle with the symptoms and we can change, jobs and relationships and do things to make our body better and all these outer things that we're trying to plug into ourselves. But we also have to understand that wherever we go, there we are. And if we don't change at the root level where our life is really stemming from the inside out, by making adjustments in our mind and our programming, which is driving our recurring thoughts, feelings, choices, behavior, action, creating results, then what we have is we get temporary change, but we don't get lasting relief. We get moments of things going a little bit better, but then we seem to boomerang straight back. It's like a rubber band and you pull it out and you let it go and it just flicks straight back to where it was at the beginning. It's because the originating driver, that energy and the perception that's driving everything hasn't ever changed. We've tried to make changes at the tail end of the equation. It's what I call your equation for creation. Beliefs driving thoughts, driving feelings, driving choices, behavior, and action equals results equals my life. Here is the kicker. You perceive the results in your life and you make up your mind about what it means, about yourself, about life, about other people, and you're making up your mind through the filter of the original belief programming that originally wasn't working for you, and it creates more difficult thoughts and difficult feelings and difficult habitual behaviors and habits of being stuck, and it creates more of the same results or compounding worse, and you see it and the whole cycle continues. We have to come to lovingly interrupt this cycle to set you free, and it has to happen at the root level. By all means, change things out there. By all means, do things from the outside in for your body, your health. Do things with your money and your relationships and your career and change jobs and change location, all the things you want to do. But you have to know the stuff out there from an energetic perspective is like a bow tied on the outside of your life. And the real cause and the real power and the real lasting change comes when you get into alignment inside of you where your mindset works for you, where your mindset is programmed to support the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions that will generate the results that you really want in your life. Okay, so to change those roots, what do we need? Well, there's two core things you need. You have them and everybody else on the planet has them, so that's good news. You're sorted, okay? The first one is you need awareness. You need the ability to be aware of yourself so that you can direct yourself and provide what I call loving leadership to your mind to create changes, okay? So you have awareness, meaning I am aware of myself. I can watch and witness myself so I can observe and study and understand what's going on so I can do something about it. The second thing you need is free will to show up and do the things that need to be done in order for you to get a change happening. No one else can do that for you. They can't bring you to the table or force you to do it. You have to do it. And that is a free will choice to say, yes, I want to do it. And yes, I'm going to show up for myself and I'm going to follow along and do the things, right? So that's the good news is you've got those two things. Then we say, what are the essential things? Now, I'm going to give you an overview in like 2 or 3 minutes, but I do this as a 6-week training, okay? Like an intensive 6-week training is normally what I take people through, like the Master Your Mind module inside Soul Odyssey. Remember, if you want to do that, Soul Odyssey is opening early in the new year. Go to bernadettelogue.com/waitlist to join the waitlist. And then as a priority member of the waitlist, I will first notify you before everyone else so that you have the opportunity to jump in. So everything you need is in there. I'm going to tell you later, remember, about private coaching if you want to do it privately with me. So first of all, is you cannot resolve what you do not see and understand, right? Just makes sense. You don't go to the doctor and say, hey, give me something, and they go, okay, and they just throw everything at you that they've got on their prescription pad. No, we have to go, well, what is going on? What is the real issue? And then we find a solution to fix the exact issue, right? So if you want to train your mind out of loveless, unaligned, harmful belief programming, we have to know what it is. Now, there are many ways that you can do this. I use, first of all, checklists, like here are all the common limiting beliefs about all different areas of life that cause people problems. Like, does this resonate? You will know immediately. You'll be like, yep, that rings true to me. Okay, so we can use checklists. We can use Q&A. So we ask ourselves really smart questions, we get really wise answers, and it brings it out. So for example, in one-on-one coaching, I've got some sessions opening up for December and January at the time of release of this. So if you want to do it, this is what we'll be doing. And it's called digging. You ask really smart questions, and it unearths and uncovers and pinpoints really quickly what is the root programming that you have going on. And quite often when people come in to do this work, whether they're doing it in the Master Your Mind module with me as a group, or they're doing it in the private coaching, they will come in and they'll say, oh, like I've got this problem with my shoulder, or I've got this niggling issue in my relationship, or I just can't seem to get my boss to listen to me, or, I'm having financial difficulties, or whatever it is. And they will think to themselves they know what the issue is. And when we start to dig, often people are jaw-dropping, like, I can't believe that this is really what's going on behind that. And they realize the true root belief that is driving the issues. Not that they're responsible for other people out there, but in terms of how they interact with challenges in life. And not just that, but how actually we do attract some of the things into our life, right? Because we are an energetic being. So as we bring our energy to life, we are not only acting to create, we are attracting to us, which creates. And so when you see these things, it's very liberating just to even see it. So checklists are great. Q&A digging is really great. And that's kind of the foundation of how we go about finding these things for ourselves. Once you've done that, the second thing is this. We have to crack the validity of what you are attached to and believing in, okay? Because they're beliefs for a reason. You believe it to be true. It is an ingrained perspective that you have accepted to be truth, okay? Normally this happens because you have heard it, thought it, or seen it so many times repetitively and consistently that you've assumed it to be true, and it ingrained and became part of your reality. Or something has happened infrequently or once, but it's emotionally shocking enough that it pivots you on the spot and you believe it to be true. Okay, whatever the situation is that's triggered, prompted, harmed you psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, or physically, then the mind has made up its mind about it. Now we've got a new belief. We have to challenge the validity of the belief. It's not enough just to plant stuff into your mind and hope that some part of you is just going to accept it one day. Just like affirm, and not actually look and go, you know what, like as an intelligent person, let me really look at this and go, where did this come from? Who did I pick this up from? How did I pick this up? And like as an adult now looking back, like, is that absolutely factually true? And even if I think it's true because I believe it, can I challenge it? Can I crack it? Can I look at it from a different perspective? Okay? The third thing that we need to do is choose how we would prefer to move through this world as a sovereign, awakened, conscious, free adult who is sovereign over our mind, our emotions, our body, and our autonomy to live our life in alignment with our soulful self. So that we're not living from beliefs that accumulated when we were little wee ones, sweet little children, even as young adults, where we didn't really know what was going on. And now we get to say, I'm choosing. I'm not living by that. I'm choosing for myself now. And we tap into the soulful self and intuition, and we logically and intuitively choose the paradigm that we want to live from. Okay. And then the next step is we move into a role with our awareness of being a loving leader of our mind. Our job is to finally show up in our life at the forefront of our life, relentlessly committed to loving leadership of our mind and ourselves to move us forward in our life. Now, we do that in a couple of ways. When you know what your old mindset has been doesn't work for you, and you've chosen a new mindset that does work for you, which is the medicine your mind needs to heal what is ill at ease in there and is causing the friction in your life, is causing the results you don't want, then we have to come in and say, how do I move myself from here to here? And the answer is loving leadership. And it means consistently and repetitively training your mind to ingrain the truth that serves your highest good, this new paradigm, okay? Consistency and repetition are two important factors. Another, sometimes not fully understood factor, is to bring positive emotional intensity when you are training and ingraining these messages into your mind. The reason is because when you are in a positive emotional state, you are far more receptive to receiving and ingraining messages. You are more open-hearted, and your energy is more aligned with learning and growing and ingraining something powerful. Our mind originally picked up sucky beliefs because it was consistently and repetitively going on around us, or we had an emotional negative shock that pivot us on the spot. We are reverse engineering that, and we are saying, to ingrain what I really want, I've got to use the same process: consistency, repetition, emotional intensity. And I'm going to use that to bring in and ingrain into my mind, to lovingly lead my mind to the paradigm that I want to live from. Now, there are a couple of other steps, and I'll quickly tell you what they are. The fifth, I think the fifth step is this: we have to become practiced at perceiving life from a whole new perspective. Because you can't just go, well, I've been perceiving my life this way for like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. And then I'm just going to, try and say, this is my new belief. Well, you need to practice. You need to, like, you're working the muscle at the gym. You need to fire the neural pathways. You need to develop an ability to look out in the world and say, if these are my new beliefs, how am I going to choose to interact with that person? How am I going to choose to perceive and respond to this money situation? How am I going to choose to now think about what happened to me in the past in order that I can apply my new beliefs and let it go? How am I going to then come into this relationship or communication or work conflict or opportunity? How am I going to be this person? I need to practice the beliefs and know, like a well-trained muscle, that I can come in and use these perspectives. Because otherwise what happens is, it's a nice, interesting thing, and you do a training course or you listen to a video, you go out into life, and boom, you get triggered and you're straight back in to your old conditioning. It's because you need to train and you need to build and practice the muscle of living as that person, being that person. Rubber meets the road. I need to practice to actually apply this belief to my actual active life situations in daily life. We need strategies to be able to do that. Yeah. And then lastly, if I believe these things and I was to live as this person, what would I be doing right now? Who would I be being, and what would I be doing? What would I be choosing? Let me look if my life aligns. Do I have things that I need to change that align to my beliefs, my new beliefs? And we start to make incremental and beautiful small changes that don't have to be big leaps, but small changes that honor who you really are. And every time you do that, your mind loves it. Your mind goes, look, we're operating differently. Look, I got a different result. Look at this beautiful change. And it becomes evidence that you are safe, supported, and that you're effective and you're capable. And your mind further ingrains these powerful beliefs. Okay? So this has been like a rapid run through. I talk about this inside my free masterclass on my website. I obviously run it in the Master Your Mind module inside Soul Odyssey, and we do it in coaching. But I wanted to bring it to the podcast because I haven't brought it to the podcast in this way before, going through all these keys. And I think it's really helpful to awaken in any of you that are listening or watching that haven't been inside these trainings with me, that it is very practical and is very methodical. So I want you to think about your life right now, and I want you to look at your life and say, what in my life is a bit funky and not working, and it's not really, it's not really on track for me, and I intuitively know that I'm a bit stuck. It doesn't matter if it's your health, relationships, money, career, sense of purpose, your sense of intuition, your spiritual connection. Your mind has a part to play in all of it, okay? All of it. What our mind does has the ability to generate emotions in our body: fight, flight response, stress response, fear response. It affects our ability to connect to our intuition, our ability to connect to our soul and source, our spirituality. It affects our physical health. It affects what we say and what we do and how we interact and how people receive us and perceive us, everything. So think about, where in your life would it benefit you to have a mindset that is powerfully supporting your thought programs, your emotional state, your body, your choices, behavior, and actions and results, so that you can have a different experience of life. If you're interested in this, there's 2 pathways right now. Number 1, if you want to do the Master Your Mind module with me inside the Soul Odyssey Amazing Adventure, it is a spirituality and psychological adventure that we go on to return ourselves home to who we really are, so we can be soul aligned, purposeful, fulfilling, magical, and have the life that we came here to live. Go to bernadettelogue.com/waitlist. We're opening up early in the new year, so that is the next public enrollment, and you'll be first notified when the doors open. Alternatively, I have coaching one-on-one privately with me, sessions available for December and January at the time of release of this podcast. There is a special package with a special bonus that I'm going to give you if you're joining me for that. We can have a start date in December or in January. I'll send you all the details. All you need to do is email me, support@bernadettelogue.com, and put in the subject line Mind Mastery, okay, so that I know that you've listened to this and that's what you're up for. So again, just email support@bernadettelogue.com, put in the subject line Mind Mastery, and I'll send you everything you need to know about private coaching, the option and availability right now, and then you can see if it resonates and aligns. It's been awesome and magical to join you here from sunny, beautiful green New Zealand. Thank you for joining me, and I am looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Practical Spirituality with Bea. Sending love to you wherever you are in the world. Thanks for listening to Practical Spirituality with Bea. I'll talk to you next episode for more spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic.